All right, this is Vendors with Benefits. I'm here with Jimmy from SKOUT, James Hatzell. What's going on?
Not much. Happy to be on. Happy to be on with you today.
Basically we're looking to unearth as many MDF programs in the channel as possible. So this really starts, there's two components of it. And there's the one is the reimbursement. This is like marketing expenses, things like that vendors will typically reimburse the MSPs, assuming that they're obviously selling more through the product. And then the other side is the enablement. So this is the events, the tools, like everything that the vendors offer. And so I'd love to just get like a short, rundown of your program, what it looks like, and how it fits with your partners.
Yeah, sure. I think like giving some context around the program is important too. Ever since I started at SKOUT, everyone in the company operates by this philosophy, whether that's our product, marketing, sales, anything, is test, verify, scale. So, we are not scared to try new things. We're not scared to test things. And, if things start going well, we verify it, double check everything. And that's when we scale things. And that's when we put, all of our power behind it. So when we created our marketing program for our partners, that's exactly what we did. We tested tons of different things, co-sponsoring events, reimbursement for things, webinars, co-branding, all sorts of different stuff. And we noticed a couple different things along the way. The first is that a lot of times MSPs didn't know exactly what to do with funds. You're nodding your head.
Shaking my head, yeah, of course.
Yeah. They didn't know exactly what to do with funds, even if they were available to them. And then number two, they were asking us for our support on like, what do you think we should do? What do you think we should do? So we started creating very prescribed processes. And I think, our co-marketing program is probably one of the most, and I don't want prescribed is probably bad because like that makes it sound like one size fit all, but process and goal oriented. So every single partner with SKOUT, regardless of whether or not they've made a purchase with us before, gets access to our partner portal. And in there, they get our marketing templates and our tools. And we have a very high utilization rate with that. We were talking a little bit before we get started. Nearly all of our partners have accessed our partner portal and used some sort of our marketing templates or our calculators or our generators or something in there.
And just for clarification, is it primarily co-branded? Is it just something they put their logo on? Can you just give me a little bit of the details there?
Sure. There's three different types. One is we have content in there that we will actually co-brand ourselves for them. Two is content that it's like more templates that they'll download and more customized. So like we just put out something last week that was a sales email cadence for a webinar that anyone can use for any webinar. And you can go in and it maps it out over the series of a month to follow up and try to turn that into a meeting. And then the third is automated. So we have automated tools where you can upload your logo, you can generate risk scores for your clients, that sort of thing. And so those are like the three buckets of things. And really, we get all of our MSPs using that. And it's part of every sales meeting, part of every account review. Have you done this before? A part of our monthly partner meetings where we have public meetings with our partners and they come in and give us feedback. So like that has its own roadmap separate from our product roadmap. Like we have our product and all that, and then we have our own marketing roadmap too. And so through that process, we unearthed with really the start of COVID, our webinar process. And our webinar process, we started doing webinars with partners. We figured out that there was a couple things that were key to success. One, we needed really good demos in them, and they had to be cool, not like product salesy. And then two, the webinars all sort of followed a similar format, and you could plug and play different things. So we created a script where you can create maybe 100 different iterations of a webinar just
Cool.
by picking like, okay, you want to do a phishing demo, a wire fraud demo, a ransomware demo, boom, boom, boom. They're all pre-recorded. It looks like, we're doing them on the screen. It's all buttoned up for you. We're going to talk about the cyber landscape. You're going to tell a story. We're going to tell a story. And then it's like ready to go. So like, you don't have to have those first 4 meetings. It's just practice. Like we have the whole script. We have everything ready to go for webinar. So that was great. And that helped a lot of things. But then we were finding that a lot of our partners didn't, have the time or the resources to spin up a landing page or handle registrations or, create a LinkedIn event page or keep up with what they're supposed to do or email copy or blah, 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 blah. So we just started piling on like every single week, improving. I think we do probably about 10 to 15 webinars a month right now with our partners. They average getting 40 registrations, about 20 to 30 attendees at each one, which are straight leads for the partners.
Yeah. Are you offering any incentive or anything like for the people that are attendees, or is it just the content?
So actually, that's where our MDF program goes in. So sometimes like our partners have actually we've had partners auction off like an iPad at these before, but we actually we have certain thresholds that MSPs need to make to qualify for an MDF program for us. And there's 3 levels to it. So the first is the easiest to qualify for. And it's sort of like a level up to a webinar. We call it a lunch and learn, digital lunch and learn.
Yeah.
And we have the same 100 different iterations from one process, and where we do give out gifts to the attendees. So we do that. We've seen it work in the past. It definitely works.
And so the higher partner tiers are the ones who qualify for that?
Yeah, it's actually just it's bronze partner tier to qualify for that.
Oh, cool.
So a lot of partners, when they join, we give them a lot of bronze benefits before they actually get access to bronze. And that's because the first thing that happens when you start doing SKOUT marketing, co-marketing, is we create a go-to-market plan. And if you can articulate what your plan is, and you're heading in that direction, you start qualifying for benefits early, including discounts. So we see a lot of partners getting that.
You found that will dramatically increase registrations? Because I know I have from in doing a lot of these events with MSPs, we've almost gotten to the point where you put a $25 DoorDash gift card on there and then you have to deny 50% of the registrations because they're .edu domains, and you know what I mean? People just sniff it out and find it, but then obviously it's low attendance once it turns around. So there's a balance to it.
Yeah, to be totally honest with you, of those 10 to 15 webinars we're doing a month right now, 9 to 13 of them are the first or second time that the partner that we're doing it with has really done a webinar, really gone all in and done it the way that we're doing it. So in those cases, they get really, really high attendance rates, no matter what, because it's the first time they're asking their customers to do things and, really engaging with their customers. Now that's most cases, just because, that's we're getting them started and we're helping them. We've seen actually our first webinar with them turn into entire series where they do them every month now. And then of course we engage with plenty of MSPs that are already doing webinars and they fit us into their monthly webinar routine. So in that case, the first case that I mentioned, I don't think it has a big effect on it. But for us, when we're doing webinars with partners, I'll give you a great example. We'll get about a 50 to 75% attendance rate. It's lower now. I think the longer the pandemic drags on, the lower the attendance rate is. But our partners are getting 80 to about 80% attendance rate, 70 to 80% attendance rate.
Do you take over the nurturing, the pre-event nurturing to make sure that they're aware of the event and after they sign up and all that?
Yeah, we handle landing page. We give emails promotion, sales emails, marketing emails, LinkedIn templates. We handle questions, if they email us about questions. And yeah, reminders, day before, hour before reminder, all that
great.
stuff. It's all handled. Unless and we have partners that want to do all that stuff, and that's great. And we let them do that.
So how about like post event? Because that's where the money's made, right? So like after the event ends, let's say you had 40 people that registered, 20 people that attended. What's the process like, and like what's expected of the MSP, and then where does SKOUT kind of step in and take over?
Yeah, so we always like that. It's actually like we actually have a like what partner webinar process deck where we plan everything, and like one of the big things is let's agree on the call to action now.
Yeah.
Do that like before we move on, let's agree, because that I've been a part of webinars where we've missed the execution of that, and you do all of that work and then you miss the execution, and it's such a shame.
You just needed that one thing for them to kind of like the carrot to drive the next conversation. Yeah,
exactly. So there's a couple different things. One, our most common offer is we'll have our partners go in and generate that risk report in our partner portal. So we'll say, get a free cyber risk assessment with the MSP. And then our partner can go in our partner portal and actually generate that report and have that conversation with them. And the questions are made to be discovery questions. So they're finding out about, what they're doing, opening the conversation about cyber. So that's the most common offer. We've also done like our bigger partners, who qualify under partner tiers. We'll do strategic trials or discounts for things. We've done that in the past, where, say like we'll have partners where they say, my goal this year is to sign 75% of my client base up for SKOUT endpoint protection. I want to move them onto an EDR platform, the XDR platform with your endpoint detection, protection, and all managed in that. So if we're on an initiative like that, then we will give 30-day free trial or discounted services or something like that. So those are like the two probably ends of the spectrum, and there's different things in between, certainly.
So typically, are you able to track the results along with the MSP from your webinar, kind of like to the point of sale, essentially? And like typically with 40 registrations, like would you essentially see at least some sales activity from that?
Yeah. We've had, I'll give you a great example. We had a customer we had a partner, a Canadian partner, who was switching every single client to SKOUT endpoint protection. They had 11 clients left to switch over to SKOUT endpoint protection out of, however many they did before. It was a lot. And we got them on this webinar, and they closed every single one of those 11 clients within the 30 days after the webinar on switching them over. Which, I mean, that's like the big success, 11 upsells in one. But we certainly track it. What we do is we have, we'll go through after the webinar with our accounts team. We'll say like, hey, look, here, let's look over the list together. Do you know these people? Who do you not know? How can we help? We're never going to reach out to the registrations or anything. Like, that's all you, but we're here to support along the way. So do you want us involved in these meetings? Do you want to book a meeting with, all of us? Can we just get a couple sell with to practice? That sort of thing. So we always have follow-up meetings from the webinar. And, it's not always super clear. That's just how channel sales is.
Right.
We have trust in our partners. The attribution's messy, but it's relatively good attribution, and we know it works. Like Mike Hanauer, our chief revenue officer, presents to our board and says, hey, look, we came up with this webinar process and it seems to be working pretty well. It's helping our partners sell more. And they're like, okay, let's hire a full-time person to do that. And we actually have, that was a thing that happened last year. We brought on someone, a new partner marketing person who almost 90% of his job is doing these webinars and these programs.
And so, it makes sense because, it's kind of like the 80-20 rule where obviously going, from Scout's perspective, it's probably a lot more expensive to go find new MSPs to sell Scout than to just invest in the ones that you already have.
Yeah, and it's not even all about that. It's just about doing the right thing for our partners too. Like I could sit here and talk all day and do the best top of the funnel demand gen, blah 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 blah, but having our partners who I know have done well with these webinars and their success, and when they go talk to someone else, like that's going to help us grow more than anything else. So when we bring someone on, like we're invested in their success too. We're sure we're financially motivated by the the same end goal, right? We're both trying to grow our own businesses, but it's about doing the right thing for partners.
Yeah. And then you're right. There is like this social element too. Like I know I'm connected with a lot of MSPs and I've seen a ton of Scout webinars come through my LinkedIn feed just as a result. So for the MSPs that aren't obviously like Scout partners, that they're connected with their peers, they're seeing those too. It doesn't go unnoticed. So congrats on a great program. Can you give like kind of one final call to action for our audience and just like let them know, number one, if they're not a Scout partner, how to become one, and number two, if they are and they haven't taken advantage of the program, like what do they do?
Yeah, sure. So if you're not a Scout partner yet and you want to get involved, just learn more, find out, you can email me directly, jimmy@getscout.com, or you can go to our website, fill out a contact form. We'll get in touch with you right away. And if you are a Scout partner, reach out to your channel account manager. They are trained to go through this with you. I would be actually a little surprised if they haven't, brought up webinars and some of these programs with you yet. But we'll definitely get working on it right away.
Cool. All right. Thanks, Jimmy. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Kevin.